Hello, I haven't been posting for a while because I was really confused about what can be contributed in such recordings to people who watch my channel. I get so confused because recently I used a lot of ChatGPT and I feel ChatGPT can summarize better, synthesize better, in general, express everything better than I can. So I wonder why wouldn't people just read ChatGPT? So yeah, as an example, I have just summarized this article, Artificial Intelligence Tools Expand Scientists' Impact, but Contract Science's Focus. And I have summarized this with ChatGPT. And of course, it's an amazing summary. It's an amazing summary of a great article. And so this was published 14th on January 14th, 2026. I'm really surprised because it was it was submitted on the 2nd of January and took over a year until it got published. It's again by Chinese researchers who recently became really good. You see, it's Tsinghua University. That's the second university in the world in terms of publishing now. Where's Fengli Xu from? She's from also Tsinghua. Yeah, okay, they're all Tsinghua. Zhongguan Cun. Okay, Zhongguan Cun. And yeah, so I was wondering, I was writing myself about this topic, how much do we have to produce ourselves when ChatGPT just gives out thoughts? So whenever I have a thought, I go to ChatGPT. What do you think about it? Write a scientific article, and it just gives me amazing thoughts. Now, I don't know where my creativity plays a role anymore. Anyway, let's read the summary of this article because it has some interesting caveats on it. And I think it will be a very influential article. So, what is the main idea? Well, the article argues that AI tools dramatically amplify the productivity, visibility, and career success of individual scientists. And so that is true. It just means that scientists produce much more quantity. However, they figured out that simultaneously narrowing the collective scope of science itself. They actually call this a paradox. So on the one hand, artificial intelligence is super helpful for the individual researcher. On the other hand, the depth of the research decreases and also the spillover into other disciplines. And I think it was also that the cross science citations decreased. So what they say is that it has professional advantages, but at the cost of reduced topical diversity and weaker inter-scientist engagement. And I mean, it's an amazing study because they analyzed 41.3 million papers. Yeah, so we have here now a more in-depth summary. And again, ChatGPT is just so good at synthesizing information. And I'm a bit frustrated because I feel like that's a skill that I learned for so many years, a skill that people underestimate. And my job is taken away. Also, explaining Hegel and explaining philosophy can be done better by ChatGPT. So, what is my task as I'm an assistant professor of philosophy, right? I don't know. I mean, recently students give me papers. Like one student gave me his bachelor thesis, and there's still a lot to comment for me on that. So there's still a lot of conversation going on, but it doesn't really reduce my confusion by that much. So the main empirical findings, right? So AI augmented papers now account for 75% of all natural science papers. And the share of AI papers, I mean, is clear increased, right? In physics up to 362. I think they have like some good graphs in here. Citations per paper, that's maybe not what I'm looking for. Let's look into these figures. What do we have here? Share of papers with AI. And you see here just the dramatic increase. Which figure is this? This is figure D. The growth of AI augmented papers and AI adopted researchers across machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI eras between 1990 and 2025. The y-axis are set to scale. So what are the different colors? I don't know where to get that from. Maybe I cannot find it right now. But I assume since physics increased the most, this must be physics. Oh, here it is. Material. Oh no, this is material science. But what is physics? Physics is yellow. So maybe I don't understand that because they said it increased like 375 times 375, 362. Maybe that's not accurate. Or maybe I don't read the charts correctly because physics is supposed to increase the most, right? Share of researchers with AI. Yeah, you see a general increase in all of these numbers, right? But I wonder if it's 364. Let's look for the number. 364. Or did it say 362? Where does it get this number from? 362. Did it just hallucinate? Where did it get the number from 362? Oh yeah, here, 362 in physics. 0.16, page 3. Where's page 3? How do I get it to go there? Page 3. So let's go manually to page 3. Maybe it interprets that wrong. Let's just check on it. Do I find the number here? Here we have the number. Let's look what it says. So times, oh man, that's a difficult sentence. Where does the sentence start? Statistically, despite overall rise in the number of papers published annually across all disciplines, the share of AI augmented papers surged by 10.7 to 51.89. So it's like more than 50%, if I understand that right. Similarly, the proportion of researchers adopting AI has grown even more rapidly, from 135 times in geology to 360 times, 62 times in physics. And let's say what it says here. Share of AI using researchers increased even faster. So it really got like the really important information out of it and it put it into a really nice form. So AI is no longer marginal, but it becomes infrastructural. That's a good sentence. That's a good sentence. I wish I said that in a paper. So how do scientists benefit from it? They publish 3 times more papers. They receive 4 to 5 more citations, 5 times more citations, become earlier promoted, and are less likely drop out of academia. Well, okay, that's a bit weird. AI functions as an accelerator. However, topical diversity shrinks by 4.6%. Scientific engagement, that means that papers follow on it or that topics get explored across, decrease. AI-driven research clusters around data-rich, already popular topics. And I mean, they use it for their advantage, right? Here's another nice graphic that is supposed to show that. So this is figure B. What do they say here? So AI adoption is associated with contraction in knowledge extent within scientific fields. We embed research papers into a 768-dimensional vector space with a pre-trained text embedding model. We then measure the knowledge extent of papers within that space, B. For visualization, we use the T-distributed stochastic neighbor embedding algorithm to flatten the high-dimensional embeddings of a random batch of 10,000 papers, half of which are AI papers, into a two-dimensional plot. As shown by the solid arrows and circular boundaries, the knowledge extent of AI papers is smaller across the entire of natural sciences. Furthermore, AI papers are more clustered in knowledge space, indicating a higher concentration on specific problems. So, okay, I guess here the outer circle is the extent of research. Yeah, they call it knowledge extent. So they go like, and the blue ones are papers that don't use AI. And you see, they also go to the outer rims and really explore, while AI centers more towards the center. It centers more. And it also builds like certain clusters. So, and this may threaten diversity, but I think it's at 4.6%. I mean, it is an interesting finding, but my question is, am I overemphasizing that kind of finding now? That would be my question. So, and the authors, they frame that as a conflict between individual and collective benefit. So, but why is diversity collective benefit? I don't fully understand that. Maybe specialization is good. Is diversity really giving us more usable knowledge, maybe? Yeah. So AI tools seem to automate established fields rather than explore new ones. That's what they point out. And here, like, the epistemic breadth is not very large. Yeah. So let me know what you think about that. Do you want to see more videos in the future? I'm a little bit demotivated because I see also so many people producing great videos, and I wonder really what I can contribute, especially in the era of GPTs. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about the article, or in general about human engagement with science in the era of ChatGPT. Bye-bye.